Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well. This is my Shabby Saturday, and I thought today we would do something a little bit different. This is going to be more of like a project type thing. We won't finish it all today, but I thought it would be kind of fun to try and do something a little bit different, and I'm going to give you an idea of what we're going to do. The main reason that I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it this way, is I've had quite a few people talk about the fact that they don't have access to a printer and they can't use digitals, and or can you use scrapbook paper or whatever. And I thought, why don't I do a project that is just all either scrapbook paper, other papers, but not digitals. And that way, maybe more people can see that you don't necessarily have to have digitals to do this. I am not opposed to digitals. I use them all the time. I don't think there's any real difference between a digital and scrapbook paper. One is printed for you. One you print yourself. But they're both digitally designed paper. So, honestly, guys, that's it. That's really the only difference that I can tell. So, now, I will say one thing good about doing what we're going to do with scrapbook papers and just other papers. The scrapbook papers you can coffee or tea dye, and you can on digitals if you use a laser printer. But if you use an inkjet printer, it'll smear the ink. So you can't do it on those. Excuse me. Let me get a drink here. So what's really kind of fun is being able to coffee dye things to make them look a little older and grungier. And the project that we're going to do is what I call Shabby Grungy. That's my words that I use to describe a style that I like. Probably out of all the styles that I do, it's probably the style I like the best. I feel the most comfortable making, and I don't know. That's probably describes it the best that I can. It's not just super grungy like all Tim Holtz, but it has a little bit of shabby thrown in. And but it's not super pretty and super perfect and that type of thing. It's a little bit of both. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to do a project that is Shabby Grungy, not using any digitals. I am going to use scrapbook paper and then also some printed pieces that I got from these ephemera books, and just old vintage papers like music paper and receipts and things like that. So that's what we're going to do today, and we will get started. I'm going to show you a journal that I am going to use as kind of my prototype. I didn't make it. I bought it from someone, and I have this in here. And the name of her shop was Fragments. And honestly, I don't think she has a presence on Etsy or YouTube or anything like that. She has a phone number. I'll put it up here. And this is kind of on her card too. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if it focuses in. I found her in this journal when I went to Round Top 2 years ago. Not quite 2 years ago, maybe about a year and a half. And I went there, and she had an amazing shop with a lot of vintage things that she had done things to. And I mean, it's just an amazing shop. Well, off in the corner, I saw she had all these junk journals. And I say all, she probably had about, I don't know, 8 to 10 of them there, which to me is a lot. And I fell in love with them because the style is just right up my alley. And we ended up talking for probably an hour. And honestly, I have her card with her name on it, but I don't know where it is. But in any case, I bought a journal from her. And then she was saying nobody, they weren't buying her journals. And I said, well, I don't think a lot of people that know what they are go to these places, although I think it's happening more and more. And so they just don't, it's just kind of, I don't think they understand it, and I don't know that they seek it. The ones that she does sell, she said it's just was people like me. But anyway, I have shown this journal before to you when I got it, but I want to show it to you today because we're going to try and make something similar. It's not going to be the same because obviously I don't have the same papers. I don't have the same lace and trim and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to make something similar, and we're going to do it Shabby Grungy, and we're going to do it without digital. So first off, it is made out of a file folder, but it's really a heavy duty one. I don't know where she got it, but it's probably a vintage one. But in any case, we're going to use a regular file folder to make ours. And so this is the outside. I'm going to go through it really quick. This is what it looks like. She's got this wonderful paper and then journal stamped over here. And she uses a lot of vintage lace and trim. And what's interesting is she uses like a lot of cut aparts from like a paper pad that it looks like she, grunged up a little bit and put in there. And this is some sari silk that she has going on through here. And so see, here's the file folder portion of it. And I'm not going to go through every little thing, but this is similar style to what we're going to be doing. There's a lot of coffee dyed stuff, a lot of hidden pockets, things like that. But if you notice, everything in here is probably coffee dyed, and she did, like a lot of different techniques to it. A lot of plain paper that she did stuff like stenciling and decoupaging. Beautiful fabric. There's some Tim Holtz paper, and just a lot of things to me that are wonderful in a journal. This is a collage page here. She even put fabric in her collage page. So it's just, I think it's fantastic. Doily. This is some wonderfully burnt paper. I'm just going to go through it quickly. We'll be go through it slower as we build our journal. We'll kind of reference this. So, but I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I believe this is Tim Holtz wallpaper, and just a little envelope that she made. Every time I go in this thing, I find more stuff. And it's not a huge journal, so it won't take us that long to do it. But she has a lot of detail in here, guys. A lot of detail. So there's stamps in there. But she has the right mix of things to make it a Shabby Grungy, I think. And that's what this is the look we're going to try and achieve, is Shabby Grungy, which is my favorite. So we will, I'm going fast, so you can't really enjoy this as much as, you know, just, she has such a lot of little things in here that are just wonderful. Now, I do think this is a digital, and it looks like she tried to copy dye it, and it is kind of blurry. So I might put a blurry digital in there too. And this looks like a book page. But anyway, but see, this is all stenciled, and then she decoupaged it, and it's just really, really, really fun. And she has a lot of little vintage things like papers and little pieces of paper and things like that in there. She did a lot of stamping, added a lot. Here's a Tim Holtz doll here with some vintage lace, you can tell. Or knowing her, it's probably antique. And a little booklet, absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, she did a lot of stuff like collaging, sewing, stamping. It's all those little things, you know, that take so much time. But I think that's what makes a journal special. And anyway, so we're gonna, this is just a flip up with different pieces of lace and trim. Here's the back of it. And I didn't even realize this till the last time I looked in it. She's got like a little strip with little strips of paper, or a little, what do you call it? Pad. She's got this cool little stuff here. So anyway, guys, we are going to go ahead and get to work on it, because I want to be able to, my goal is, we are probably going to work on this Saturday through next Saturday, but not every day would I do a video. I'm thinking I'm going to start this Saturday, and then I will probably do a What's on My Desk Wednesday with it, and then I will probably do a Fun Friday, my next Fun Friday, and then finish it next Saturday, because I think it'll take a total of 4. Hopefully, you know, I have people watching, because usually when I do these series things, after about the second one, people quit watching. But anyway, it's really going to be a craft along. You know, I will be doing some editing, but most of it's going to be kind of like real time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a file folder, and hopefully it is copy dyed. Okay. And we're going to use that for the basis of everything. Now let me show you the papers that I'm using. I have no idea if you can buy these anymore. It's a Recollections English Rose Garden. I bought it years ago, but they may still have it out there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you the papers in it. I don't know. I really don't know what papers I'm going to use. I'll probably use that on the cover. I'm going to tear that out. Pull that out. There's just a ton of papers in here that are absolutely gorgeous. I am going to use these cut-aparts. I think that'll be good. I don't know which papers exactly. I have an idea, but isn't that? I'm doing upside down, but I don't know if you guys can see. Isn't that here? Anyway, It's kind of hard to do it that way. I'm just going to have to do it this way. Y'all are going to have to use your imagination. Okay. Any case, see these? I'm not going to use all of them, but I'm going to, you know, try and use some because I think she did it in her journal. And, oh, I didn't see that piece. That piece is really pretty. I might have to go back and see if I can pull that out. Oh, that's a gorgeous piece too, isn't it? And we might fussy cut some things and stuff like that. But the reason I like this is I just really love the variety of different papers in here. And I've already used some of these before on other projects. But I don't know that I've used a lot of them. Anyway, this is kind of be oh yeah, and probably Stash Buster Sundays. I'll probably do Stash Buster Sunday, a continuation of this. So it'll be in the title, and I'll link the playlist as to what they do. But I'm hoping that I can get this done in about 4 videos. Okay, so let's see. Let me show you what you don't have to do this, guys, but for Shabby Grungy, I like to coffee dye. So these are the pages. I don't have any idea if I'm going to use all these pages, but I coffee dyed them. And here, this one's kind of a little messed up, but I just coffee dyed a bunch of pages so that if I decide, now see, here's the cut aparts coffee dyed. They just have a whole different look after you do that. And don't worry, I'll flatten them out. See, they just look completely different, don't they? So they look shabby grungy. So if you don't like that look, guys, then don't do it like that. This one's really grungy. And this is grungy. And I did it with coffee. You could do it with tea. This is a different paper pad, but I wanted to try some of this. It has a glittery stuff on there because she had some of it in there, and I think it turned out cool. And so anyway, those are some of the papers. I went ahead and did a few more other papers. These are lighter weight because I may use some of these as pages or partial pages. I am not sure. Okay. I figured, you know what, if I didn't use it in this journal, I would maybe use it in another journal. And this comes from a different paper pad. But I really don't know. These are just a lot lighter weight, and I thought, well, I wanted to have that option. Now, as far as the pages and things like that go, I have not picked them all out yet, but I do think that I will likely, like I have some Edith Holden pages. I have some other vintage garden books, maybe some kind of grungy pages like that. I have some grungy. This is a printed page. This is what it looks like when you try and coffee dye. What do you call it? This is even darker. When you try and coffee dye or tea dye pages that are on inkjet printer. So probably some vellum for sure. I have different pink dyed pages. Avocado, this is another one, but I'm probably going to use stuff like that, and probably some regular coffee dyed pages. I mean, regular being, not colored, just different pages. So that's kind of what things I'm going to use. Book pages, probably some music pages, things like that. So these kind of pages, this is mainly what I'm going to use to actually decorate the actual journal, and the cut aparts I'm going to use, decorate them up a little bit and use for ephemera. And I'll use other things too, but I just think that they'll work really well. But this is more to actually decorate the actual file folder part of it. So, okay, so like I said, the first thing we're going to do is take our file folder, and if you want a coffee diet, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have, you just decide how grungy you want it, okay? You can make it just shabby. You don't have to make it shabby grungy. I am going to use my scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, guys, you can just use ruler and your bone folder, or anything that you can score with. But I personally like using my scoreboard. I have one. If you don't have one, like I said, you can just measure however many inches I'm telling you and just use your ruler. You can just take your ruler and, like if I say 6 inches and you mark 6 inches and you just take it and do that. That's all you do. The only difference. But a scoreboard's easy because it lines it all up. Let's see here. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to leave this little flappy thing on here. If you don't want it, you can cut it and have it flush. I don't think that, and I'm going to be referring back to hers a lot. I don't think that she did. Let me see what she did. Yeah, I think she cut hers off. Dun, 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 dun. And every file folder is different. Some will have it, some won't. Well, I guess we could cut it off. It doesn't really matter. If you cut it off, you want to cut it off right here, and it will hit this other side. So I am going to probably just cut this off, and I don't know how that's there. I am going to just line up this line that I have. Let's see here. I'm trying to get it even with this and get it back here. Okay. Looks pretty straight. So I'm going to go. There we go. So I just cut that little piece off. The bottom is going to then be straight on this, but it doesn't matter because we're going to end up, so that's why I decided to go ahead and just cut it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it 9 inches tall. So I'm taking my file folder, and these little parts here at the top they're gonna stay the top, and then this part down here, the part that we cut off, that's gonna be the bottom. So I am gonna go 9 inches. That is the height of what I'm making it. If you wanted to make it 8.5 or something, you certainly can. And I'm just doing it on that side, and then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do it on the other side, even though it goes all the way through. It's just easier to do it that way than trying to open up the file folder and do each side individually. Okay, so that's our height that we're going to have, okay? Then what we're going to do is, her spine was it was a 1/2 inch, and I want to do, I'm going to do a whole inch. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to have this all the way butt up against the side, and to make an inch spine I'm going to have a 1/2 inch on each side. So basically here's the middle right here. I'm going to have a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there. 1/2 inch going down here, 1/2 inch there. But the way I do that is I just put both butted up against there, and I just go a 1/2 inch all the way down. I like this side better. Okay, and I do it a couple times usually. Stay still. And this is why a scoreboard works good, but sometimes a ruler is actually easier, so. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side just for folding's sake. It makes it a little bit easier. Get it right on the 1/2 inch. Okay. All right, so then the next thing that we're going to do is we need 5.5 inches from our last score line, because we did a 1/2 inch here. So if we count 5.5 inches, that gets us right to 6. Okay, so we're going to take this and butt it up against there. We have a 1/2 inch that we started out with. Remember, we just scored that. From that score line, that 1/2 inch, if we go 5.5 inches, we're going to end up at 6. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to score right at 6. Oops, it moved. Let's see here. Usually that happens when you don't have it in there flush. Okay, then I'm going to do the other side at 6 inches. Same thing. Right at 6 inches. Okay. And what that does is it just makes it easier to fold. Okay. So that is how we're going to score everything. And now I'm going to show you how we cut it. So the next thing we're going to do is, this is our bottom, and that is going to fold up like that. I just start folding on the fold lines so that I know where they are, so they're nice and crisp. So that's the bottom. Okay, you can open it back up. These are the sides, so we're going to fold those. Okay, then we're going to fold that. All right, and then we have our lines here that we had where our spine was. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, now this one sometimes is weird because your file folder will have lines in it and you're trying to not fold on those lines. You want to fold on your score lines. So, and that's why it's kind of important to go back in and make sure you do a nice crease so that you know which line you're supposed to be working on. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think that one moved a tiny bit. Let me see. Yeah, it did. I could feel it when I was doing this. There we go. All right, so now that we've done all that, we are going to do a little bit of cutting. This little square right here, we're going to cut it out. This right here, and then we're going to cut the one out on the other side. Okay, so you have one here and one there. This is the bottom. Okay, and this is where the bottom and the side come together. This little part right here we're going to cut out. That's the first thing we do. We do not need it. And I'm just going to cut just right out. That's that one. Now I'm going to do the other one. Oops. All right. So now that we've done that, we have little pockets that are going to go in there. But the problem is that they're not going to fold all that great if we don't cut them on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in on an angle not real wide, just enough to kind of give me a little bit of room. I think that's enough. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's enough. And I'm not going to cut all the way to the middle here. I'm going to cut to here. This is because this is where our spine is. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm just eyeballing it. Basically, you want to make it reasonably the same. You could use this. In fact, you could just take this if you want to make it the same and put it right there. It probably won't make it perfect anyway, but and take a pencil and do that, or you could hold it. I don't think I could hold it and do it, but okay, hold on. You know, just how you do when you do a tag, just so you have it the same. Oh, I'm moving it. And I could do it on the other side, right? I just have my fingers in the way. And then I can do it on this side. That way they're all the same. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're not going to really be able to tell because this is one side of your journal and the other side. But you do want to make them kind of the same. Oh, I keep moving it, so I'm not very good at this, holding this thing down, because my big fingers are in the way. So then you're just going to go ahead and cut that out and go up to that corner there, go up to that corner there, you know, and just try and cut somewhat straight. I'm kind of bad at that, but do that. Okay, now this part in the middle, you're going to cut that out. You don't need that. Just go right up to the line. Cut it out. And this is where your pockets, you're going to have two pockets there, okay? So they're going to go right there. This is going to fold right there, okay? So, well, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be, no, that's okay. It'll be all right. Okay, so those are your pockets, and this is basically the framework of your journal. Okay, that's how it's going to look, and it does have a 1-inch spine. Okay, so what I want to do is reinforce my spine, and I'm going to take some washi tape to do that. I have a wider washi tape here. If you don't have a wide washi tape, you can use 2 pieces. You can use micropore. You can use, material. In fact, I thought about using some material down here, and I might, I don't know. I think I might put lace later, but you could take like a piece of material and put that there, and that would help reinforce it, just like that. Okay. You could take lace or trim or something like that. Let me see if I have one that's not, or here, this is just some cotton duck. You could use that. You don't necessarily have to use washi tape, but washi tape will work. I mean, it'll work. So I'm going to use it, and just for speed's sake, to get things done. If I go too fast on this stuff, guys, then just go back and watch it again. Okay, and you can slow it down. And if I go too slow, again, you can go fast. You can speed it up. I mean, the thing is, you've got some people that they're new to this, some that this is old stuff. So I kind of have to work, for the people in between, or, you know, whatever. Okay. Trying to get it on there reasonably straight. And I used my glue stick, even though this is pretty good washi tape. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of use my tear ruler, because I don't necessarily need it perfect. And tear the end off there. And I'm also going to do it on the back. Or I guess that's really kind of the front. I don't know. Whatever. I'm doing it on both sides, basically, okay? And that to me is, you know, just a little extra security if you're not putting material or whatever. And like I said, I may, when I'm done, decide that I want to put, you know, some lace or trim or even material. I don't know. You can always put that over this. This is not like the, you know, you do this and you can't do anything else. So, all right. And a lot of this is going to be covered up. So, but you want something that kind of goes with your theme. And all right. So, anyway, that took care of that. Okay. So what that's going to do is that is going to reinforce our spine, and that will keep it nice and from like splitting, okay, and bending, and it also helps keep the folder together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to heavily ink all around here. Even though it's coffee dyed, I want it a little bit darker. I want to be able to, I just want it a little bit grungier. If you don't like it, like I said, if you don't like that, then, you know, you may not want to do that. Let me get my little mat thing out. It helps me. I just kind of put it underneath here, and then that way I can go off to the side. And I am just using Vintage Photo. I'm just making it a little darker, because that's kind of the look I want. If you don't want that look, coffee dyed might be just fine for you. And I'm gonna do it. I'm not doing it in the middle parts that I know that I'm gonna cover with paper. I'm just doing it where I know, you know, it's going to show. I'm going to get this inked up more. I haven't used this brush in a while, so it doesn't have any ink on it already. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing. Just kind of making it a little bit grungier. And I'm going to go all the way around. Well, this is just, I don't want to do that part. You're not going to see the inside. That's, I don't know why I was doing that. Okay. So I just want it just a little bit more. Okay. And you will see this, and you will see this. So I'm going to do this one side and maybe the back a little bit, and then I'm going to just come back when it's all done. I just want to show you everywhere that I'm doing it so that you know, if you're doing Shabby Grungy, where you have to ink it, okay? Because this part is going to have paper on it. This will show, this will show. Maybe I need to re-ink my pad. I thought I just did not too long ago. But, you know, we go through the Vintage Photo, don't we? Okay, so this is, we did all of our inking, So the next step that we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of stamping. You're not going to see that much of it, but you'll see a little bit of it. And I've just got this kind of mixed media type stamp that has different script on it. And I'm going to just take that and just kind of, I have the plastic on. I'm not using it on a block. And I'm just going to take, let's see where I want to go. All right, probably I'm going to go just around the edges a little bit, like that, okay? And then I'm going to do different parts of the stamp in different spots. Like I might do this in a couple places and then wherever I think it might show. Okay, let's see. There's really no specific thing I'm wanting to show up. I just know that part of this file folder is going to show and I want a little bit more interest. So let's see. Go in the middle a little bit. And it does not have to be perfect. In fact, I don't want it. And if it overlaps, it's not a big deal, guys. Because honestly, you're going to just be covering that up. Let me do some of this. You're basically going to go around the edges is all you're doing. Okay, you're going to just kind of hit the edges wherever you think it might show. And it doesn't matter if you get all of it. It's just, you know, you want to have some interest in it. Well, I guess I did that upside down. It's not going to matter. Anyway, this is how we end up. And your homework is going to be to coffee dye your stuff. Because you could get away with not coffee dyeing your file folder because you're inking it so much. But I probably would coffee dye your other papers, you know, if you want the grungy look, okay? So anyway, we'll go ahead next time and we'll work on decorating our cover. And hopefully after we decorate the cover, we will hopefully have enough time to do our papers on the inside and the outside. And that will be the second one. And then after that, I think probably what we'll do is we will pick out our papers and get our papers ready to put into the journal. And then after that, it'll be the really fun part because we'll get to do a lot of the decorating and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.